One of my favorite words is clarity. And when I think of that, I think of clear water, clear air, open spaces. When we have that kind of clarity in our thoughts, when we can see, or when we can when we can formulate our thoughts in a way that is clear. When we can formulate our thoughts in a way that is clear, it is so incredibly helpful. If we don't have clarity of our thought, we can get clarity. We can ask questions. We can journal. We can ask somebody to interview us, to figure things out. We can speak in a voice recorder and listen back to it until we get clear on what it is that we're actually thinking and feeling and wanting. And when we have that clarity, that's the time to take action. When we take action before we have that kind of clarity, our action's going to be misdirected, right? It's like if you're pointing an arrow somewhere. If you just have it just generally, oh yeah, over there, and you point, it may look kind of like you're in the general direction, but that arrow is going to go far wide from where you're aiming. When you take the time to get clear, to point that arrow, to know what it is that you're thinking and what it is that you want, and then you take action, you're going to be very impactful in where you're going and what you're doing with that action. So that clarity of thought is paramount to the efficacy of your actions. Decisive action led to greater clarity. Decisive action led to greater clarity. I don't like that question. I know a lot of people use the image of wearing glasses and for the lens that we look through, but it is so applicable. I spent most of my life in Europe, and when I come to this country, to North America, and I listen to people talk about things, I don't even know that I have that lens on, right? So I'll give you a really simple example. People talk about football, and they're going on and on about football, and then I recognize at some point when they say the Dallas Cowboys, in my mind, I'm thinking about soccer, because in Europe, the name for soccer is football. And so for my years over there, football is the round ball rolling around and, 11 people on the field following it. It's not, and people on the field following it and kicking it. It's not somebody with an egg-shaped pigskin, in two lines against one another. So that lens is such a given for me, I don't even notice it. And we do that with everything. And even if you're in the same country, you speak the same language as the people around you, even in the same family, you have a lens through which you're looking at things and you're hearing things. And it's super helpful to question that. Not to doubt it, but to just say, I'm hearing you say that you're frustrated because we keep changing our minds about something. Why is that frustrating for you? What do you mean by frustration? So to get clear, because that lens that you're looking through is completely different to the lens the other person is looking through. So being aware of the fact that you have those lenses, and then also to question them so you can get more clarity about what it is that you're looking at. Super helpful. For any of you, okay. It's incredibly helpful to allow our past to remain in our past and to be aware of the fact that literally the only thing we have is now. I mean, that sounds so cliche, but it's true. And one place that this shows up is in relationship. So whether if you're in a romantic relationship, in a partnership, or even in a parent-child relationship, we've had experiences, right? If I'm stuck in that experience, so for example, with my children, right? And let's say one of my children wasn't good at math, and they always struggled, and I had to help them, etc. And then we're in a situation where, for example, we're at a restaurant and the meal prices need to be calculated. My past reaction might be here, oh, here, let me do that for you, or here, let me take, or can somebody else help? The assumption, because of past experience, is that that person, that child, can't do the math. And I have then robbed them of the opportunity of, first of all, being who they are today, because they may be great at math today, or of stepping into a new skill set because maybe they want to do it, or maybe they can do it now where previously they couldn't. So to be aware of when I'm in the current moment and when I'm not, when I'm in the past, is super helpful. And then it makes situations a lot more fun because then I'm actually here now and not there then. Letting go of the past significantly improved your clarity and focus. I had a significant person in my life many years ago tell me that nobody's really interested in what I have to say and in my work, and I should get a job at a drugstore. And that was their opinion, and that was fine. But that stuck with me. And I have felt for years that the content that comes through me, that I share, is not mine. This doesn't sound good. Let me try this again. Okay. I had someone in my life, a significant person, who for many years told me that the work that I did wasn't interesting for other people. It might be useful for a few, but on the whole, it wasn't really applicable, and I should get a job at a drugstore. Not that working at a drugstore is bad. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I carried that for so long. It was like, wow. And even though I kept trying to do my work and my trainings and my coaching, I always had this thing in the back of my mind of like, wow, people aren't really going to want this and it's not worthwhile. And then at some point I realized, God, that wasn't even my belief. Somebody else had that belief, and it's fine that they had that belief. But I had been adjusting my life according to their belief. And when I realized that, I'll never know if people are really interested in my work or if I can help people unless I go out and I do my work. And that's what I started to do. And the amazing thing was, not only were people excited about what I was offering and I was able to help people, but I felt better. It's like, yes, this is who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. So to be able to change beliefs that we're carrying, to really question, do they apply? Do I even believe that anymore? Or do I even want to? Knowing that those beliefs are changeable because they're chosen. It's such a powerful stance. When things are complex, when life is not simple, it can be very easy to get lost and feel overwhelmed and not know what to do. A very simple step that we can take is to identify the facts. So we have emotional responses, and I'm not saying stop feeling your feelings at all. But when we're feeling overwhelmed and we're doubting and we don't know what to do, come back to the facts. So I'll use the example of not knowing where to move to. And you have to move. Your rent or your house is being sold and you have to leave. And you don't know where to go. And you're feeling overwhelmed and there's so much to do, and you want to make the right decision, and you've got your family to consider and you have your job to consider. And all these things come into play, right? Come to the facts. How much time do I have? What monies do I have available? What steps do I need to take in order to make this move? What places come into question? The radius of my job, the proximity to my family. So to get very concrete and use those facts to guide you through that situation. It's the best way to go when you're in a complex or a chaotic situation, is to identify the facts. And then when you have that clarity and you have that stability or that certainty that, okay, I know the lay of the land, I can see where the trees are and the rocks and the river and the mountain, and you've got the lay of the land because of those facts, then you can go into, how do I feel about this? What's going on for me emotionally? Then you have more space for that. But first, establish the facts so you can create that certainty for yourself. Intention, belief, word, and action. That's too much for 60 seconds. Discuss the importance of transparency and honesty and gaining clarity about one's own desire. Ah, okay. So being honest with yourself, actually you can never be dishonest with yourself. We can just kind of roll it over and make it sound like something else, but we always know what's going on. To be transparent about that with ourselves. What do we really want, right? So what work do we really love to do? I'll give you an example. I'm really good at strategic planning, and I enjoy doing strategic planning, but it's not the love of my life. The love of my life is coaching and training. And when I got clear about that and I was honest with myself about that, it's like, all right, I'll still do strategic planning and facilitate groups if I'm asked to do that. But where I put my focus is in what really brings me joy, and that is to do training and coaching. So to have that transparency with yourself, really being honest with yourself, brutally if you feel that way, it shouldn't be brutal though, it's owning what you want. And then when you own what you want, you can identify, oh wow, I've been doing that. That wasn't even my want. I was told I should do that, or my parents wanted that, or society said I should do that, or I'm good at that, so I thought I should, whatever. Right? To get clear on what is it that I really want and be honest with yourself, transparent, gives you the possibility to infuse those desires and really move toward that which you most desire.